This episode is brought to you by San Pellegrino. Welcome back to Bizarre Podcast, Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant. You can call him Chip. And today, as promised, we have not one, but two guests in the room. Please introduce yourselves as you would like to be introduced.
Yeah, so two for the price of one. We are the hosts of Emojidrome. I'm Sylvia. You can also hear me on Friends of the Table.
Hi, I'm Morgan. You can also not hear me on Friends at the Table, but you can hear me on Emojidrome with Sylvie. We were tasked at the beginning of this show to kind of introduce what it is that we do on that podcast. I'd say we're sort of like, I think once we described ourselves as the Siskel and Ebert of emoji, but I think we're more the Beavis and Butthead of emoji.
It's sort of evolved into the Beavis and Butthead of emoji, yeah.
Yeah, I like how you say evolved as if that's of a cultural, like, level above Siskel and Ebert, which I really do.
I mean, it's showing
enjoy.
my
Who's
personal
still
biases.
alive? Who's still alive? Answer me this question.
Yeah,
Damn!
Isn't Beavis and Butthead having a movie come out or something like that? Isn't there a
Probably.
whole thing they're doing?
Yeah.
And I bet they played at the Gene Siskel Film Center down on State Street. Let me tell you.
Wow. Yeah, we have a podcast, and we pick emoji every week, and we talk about them, we dissect them, and we make a lot of jokes about them. And
Yeah.
apparently we do it well enough that we've been invited on Dogs Must Die, which I am absolutely thrilled to be here. Sylvie, are you thrilled to be here? Are you thrilled? Are you
You know,
excited?
the name was a little intimidating, but yeah, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's not Dog Girls Must Die.
Thankfully, if I'd be, can I was gonna ask if I could swear like this is like a sponsored podcast because the San Pellegrino thing genuinely threw me off.
No, they're real cool with anything you want to do.
Okay,
They
cool.
won't mind that I just called out Gene Siskel for being dead, as if that's a moral failing of his.
Call out post Gene Siskel died.
Gene Siskel has been canceled to a permanent degree.
Yeah, we're here, and we're here, I think, to talk about JoJo, as many of your guests often are. You didn't bring us on to talk about emoji. I don't know if there's like custom JoJo emoji somewhere. I'm sure someone
wish.
has.
Oh,
Yeah, somewhere out there. But
It always feels like Araki's grasp on technology is always 10 to 15 years behind whatever modern technology is. So if JoJo goes for another 10 or 15 years, maybe we'll see a stand based all around
Yeah.
emoji somehow.
you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know how we want to intro into the podcast, into the actual JoJo discussion, but mentioning modern technology, literally the first note on my list here, which character in today's watchings is most likely to run and maintain a TikTok account in y'all's opinion?
It's Narancha.
I don't know. I
think
thought it
it's
might be Mista.
Sex Pistol number 6. Specifically number 6 gives me a vibe.
Oh, true.
Is that the one with the Texan accent, or is that the one who's manic?
That's
all the
number
time?
7.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I watched this with the dub for the first time. It was a very eye-opening experience for me.
No, we've been generally very pleased with the dub from like more like substantive things, like just the way they write the boss and his perspective on the world into his word choice, but also the bullet says "yeehaw" like a cowboy. Hell yeah!
It's so
It's
good.
so good. He sounds like Gur from Invader Zim. It makes me so happy.
It's really tremendous. I had only ever watched the JoJo parts with the subs before. Rewatching it, I should say, for y'all's podcast was the first time I had seen anything really from the dub. And just, y'all talked about this back in part 4, I think, with the Yukako stuff, but just like the punch-up they do on the language in the dub, especially on some of the stuff in this part, just mwah, chef's kiss. It's so good. It's so much fun.
I guess the crew as a whole probably has a shared TikTok account, what with all the dances, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Definitely.
I guess it's like I think Mista is the one who runs and maintains it. You're right about that, but Narancia appears on screen the most. You know the video of the two British guys hitting each other with chairs? I can see like any combination of the squad except maybe Abakio doing that. Except I can see Abakio swinging the chair.
Yeah. He's the one watching the trends to like plan out their next few videos.
True.
Yeah.
God bless. Well, we answered that way faster than I thought we would. All the rest of my notes for the first episode, number 14, are just me losing my mind over the dub lines. They call the turtle a reptilian bunker at one point. Just impeccable choices.
So I just, going back to the TikTok thing, I did have one more thought. Do any of y'all know, any of you seen the TikTok dude who's like got extreme divorced dad energy and he runs like
Papa John.
No, not that one. A different one. No, it's the guy who runs like a perfume brand and he's insane.
Oh, I do know this guy. What's his name?
I forget his name.
It's like Jeremy Fragrance or something.
Yeah.
Jeremy Fragrance?
It's not. I don't think it's literally that, but it's
That's
something
a stand
like that.
username. That's a stand username. Come on.
But like
It is Jeremy Fragrance. I'm so sorry. I was right.
It's pronounced fragrance.
Anyway, apologies for interrupting.
But for some reason, even though their personalities don't really match, I keep imagining Bruno in that.
Yeah.
Like if anyone's going to run a fashion brand in this gang, it would be Bruno, I think. Look at him.
Absolutely.
Divorced Bruno Bucciarati is a terrifying thought. He announces he's taking the kids and then a city burns down.
It's kind of what he did with Trish.
Oh my god. Yeah. There's a lot in these episodes. There's a lot that happens here.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how y'all want to really tackle this, if we want to go chronologically, if we want this to be like a free spinning web, but I've got a lot of thoughts.
The first point I want to make near the top, at least, is like thinking back to our last guest discussion when we just sort of looked over the beginning of the part, the first 13 episodes. I was rather negative, and I felt kind of bad about it at the time. But my opinion has completely changed. But I don't think I was wrong. I think the show has shown me that I was entirely correct. I think something I said was along the lines of, I'm enjoying all of the parts. I just think the proportions are wrong. Like there's something off in the mix. And as soon as we're done with the introductory fights, and also before the introductory fights, I guess one thing I do regret is not pointing out that the first 3-4 episodes are really great. But once they're over, this is great. This is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love how they spend so much time building characters in this arc, as opposed to like I think in Stardust Crusaders you get a lot of incidental character stuff just because they spend so much time together, and there's all these different like little character quirks they have. But in part 5, it feels as though Araki really sat down, kind of the way he did in part 4, and was like, okay, how can I use these fights to convey something about, the characters and their sort of worldview and like their abilities and all that. And in some cases you get stuff like the White Ice fight, and in some cases you get Narancia being small for 3 episodes in a row. So kind of a mixed bag, this one.
When he's normally pretty small.
He's already very small.
Already
is the
small.
thing.
Yeah, I think the pacing at the beginning of this, this part specifically, like I think they do a good job of getting like the Giorno and Bruno stuff is really good, and then it kind of like stalls out for a little while. Part of that is trying to get all like more of the like gang introduced, but like it really hits a lot better once they're finally on the train, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, the train, as soon as it starts, you're like, oh, we're kicking it into high gear now, right? Like, this is what I want out of this part. These characters who have been pretty well fleshed out at that point, all really working together in a way that feels satisfying. I think Araki does a lot of stuff in Golden Wind in general, but especially in this stretch of episodes where he finds ways for the characters to play well off of each other in terms of their powers and like what they can do. And I mean, you see that in the other parts prior to this as well, but I feel like one of the main appeals to me of Golden Wind is that it's often so well considered in that way in a lot of the encounters.
One thing that keeps coming up, recurring across this stretch, and a little bit before it, is the idea of, like, who is really in charge here? And everyone who's surveyed thinks that Giorno is the real leader of the group. I just thought I might ask everybody, do we agree? Because I'll go first and say no, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
He's the aspirational role model for okay, look, how willing are you to chop off your own arms
Yeah.
to do stuff?
I mean, frankly, a lot more now that my friend knows how to remake arms and put them back on me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why, though, is that he's the guy who can remake the arms. Maybe it's just like, well, he takes care of me.
You think that gives him the leadership position by default?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think the debate here is really between, like, leadership as command. There's no one more commanding than Bruno Bucciarati, or like the servant model of leadership. You know, a leader's job is to enable everyone to be their best and perform at their best, and that I see where they're going from with Giorno. I have to be curious what the group would be like if those two ever actually disagreed on anything.
Yeah. That might be the thing that makes it, though, is that because Bruno is so bought into Giorno's stuff, that it's like people are just picking up on the fact that Giorno is kind of the shadow leader of the group just by Bruno being different. There's a lot of, like, behind the scenes, like it's they're doing the same thing with the boss, right? The, like, who's pulling the string stuff, and I think that might be an unintentional mirror there. I don't know.
You do bring up a good point that anytime there is a, like, debate within the group about what to do next, Giorno comes up with the idea that Bruno says, yes, that one. That's what we're doing.
And then Abbacchio is like, Giorno, that's so stupid. And they do it anyway. This is
I'll simply make all the cars into turtles.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, this is the stretch of episodes where he turns them all into frogs, right? What a fucking incredible moment that is for this series. Like a watershed landmark moment for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as a creative property, I think. I really like this specific set of episodes, and I kind of want to dig into it with stuff like Pesci, especially. In terms of Araki really starting to flex how weird this series can be, you know? Because I feel like part 4 was definitely weird in its own way, and they've all been weird in their own way. Like, who would have thought from a series called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, right? But I think this specific stretch of part 5 is where he is now comfortable enough with the idea of stands and, like, what stands can do and how characters can interact with stands, that he is starting to push it even beyond the ways that part 4 iterated on what stands were in part 3, right? We start to see a lot more, like, of the abstract kind of stand stuff. Like, I don't remember what it's called in the dub, but the fishing rod stand, Beach Boys or whatever. Like, you start to see a lot more stands going forward that are, like, really specialized and only really do, like, exactly one thing like that, you know? And
like the guy who dies to activate his
stand.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like going forward from here, there's so much more of that stuff in this franchise, right?
How
like going into part 6 and 7.
Did he know he had a stand?
So here's my thought. Here's my thought, because I've wondered this a long time too. Some stands just tell you what they do.
And that's true. That's true.
Before he died, he could still summon his stand. It was next to him while he was getting shot a million times, or right before that. So maybe it was just a weird goblin stand that was just like, you have to fucking die for me to punch, or whatever, you know?
I always thought that he was dead already. I thought the whole thing was that he was some kind of, like, weird wraith corpse zombie thing, because there's the part on the plane where they get where all the writing shows up right on the side. Is the writing that shows up on the plane, is that from the stand where it's like, I want to eat pizza in Naples or whatever? Because I didn't pick up on that at all. I had no idea what that was.
This is a point that I was thinking about. Like, sometimes, in some cases, a stand has completely different behavior and completely different abilities when it's in, like, tension mode compared to when it's in active fight mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notorious B.I.G. is a huge one for that, obviously. Like, why is it trying to frighten people? It should just be eating them because it's faster than an airplane and unstoppably strong.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. But listen. Cool fight on a plane. What is the stand's name in the dub? Spicy Lady? That's so fucking funny.
Spicy Lady.
That's so funny. Oh my god. I'm so
and
used to
she says you can call me Spicy Lady, which is a thing I've said to people too.
It's so much fun. I've always been really into watching JoJo with like the subs. I was really hardlined on, oh, this is like the real name, it has to be King Crimson, like it has to be Killer Queen. And I still think for the most part, a lot of them are better in the original dub, or I guess in the sub, or the original writing, whatever you want to call it. But Spicy Lady is very, very good to me. It treats me exactly right, especially when they do the wannabe thing at the end, and it's like, oh, I guess this is a Spice Girls reference.
Yeah. Still also an extremely big fan of the earlier Part 5 stand, Kraftwerk, being localized to arts and crafts.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really funny. But I feel like there's been a few really good localizations for stands, especially when they when All-Star Battle comes out. People are going to get exposed to the ones that haven't gotten anime adaptations yet. And those have some real goofy ones.
It's going to be great. I'm so excited for that game to come out.
It isn't even a stand, but nothing will ever top Dan of Steel. I'm
Dan
sorry.
of Steel is the all-time. Yeah, it's a
How
classic.
could I forget?
Dan of Steel. God fucking bless.
Yeah, that just took me out.
So this is something I really wanted to talk about with this show and again with this stretch of episodes in particular. One of my favorite things about any media at all has always been villains, and specifically groups of villains who work together but are kind of dysfunctional, which I think I picked up from, if you're familiar, or the Organization 13 stuff in Kingdom Hearts, right? Like in Kingdom Hearts 2, And that's kind of always stuck with me, like in Metal Gear Solid, you have the different like terrorist cells and all that kind of stuff. And so
They're constantly bickering with each other, those terrorists. How do they get anything done?
How do they get anything done? But my favorite part about any like series is just the collection of stone cold freaks you get with the villains and stories. And Golden Wind is like just feeding me nonstop with just the fucking freakiest guys you've ever seen in an anime. Pesci is one, Pineapple Head, but I think this has my favorite one, which is Giacchio, who the White Album. Is that how you pronounce his name? Giacchio, thank you. Who, I love him. I think he is really indicative of what a lot of villains in JoJo are going to be like going forward from here. The part where he has his random breakdown about death in Venice, I think about that all the time. It is one of like the moments from Part 5 I remember just like on a random basis where I'm like, hey, remember when that guy got really upset and he was on this car speeding down the highway covered in ice and he just started rambling about the Merchant of Venice and Death of Venice and the pronunciation. What was up with that?
It's so good.
We'll never know. We'll just never know. He never had a reason.
It might be my favorite fight in the ones we watched.
Oh, yeah.
It's great because it really lets Mista shine in his most true form, which is the, like, I'm not losing, this is victory wine. This isn't blood, This is victory wine.
There's
like,
a lot of that in that episode,
just constantly getting his ass kicked, but, like, doing it in a way where he's like, I'm actually winning by getting my ass kicked. I love that. I live for it.
That episode is maybe the pinnacle of that in the series. I wrote this down because at the very end, when he's got Giacchio up against the like lighting pole or whatever, and he's literally like gushing blood from his spine and like bowled over and coughing, he's like, "Oh, Mista, you were wrong. I win because I was bleeding more than you were." And it's like, holy shit, dude! Like, come on. It's so
great.
good. Yeah, it kicks ass. He's also one of the only JoJo characters who has glasses. We haven't really seen
That's
a whole lot of
true.
glasses characters. Yeah, can y'all name any other main JoJo character that has worn glasses in the show so far?
No. No.
Right? I think he's
That's
the only
weird.
one. Yeah.
I've never noticed that.
Joseph have little ones, or am I
He
wrong?
does get like
does,
little readers in his old age, yeah.
yeah.
I
Does
think- yeah, in part
Rohan wear
4.
glasses at any point? He
No, but he
seems
looked
like
great.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy.
He seems like the kind of guy who wears them without any like lenses in them, and because he just thinks they look nice.
So I did look up Rohan glasses on Google, and it's giving me like a designer wine goblet company just called Rohan Glass, which is not
Great.
necessarily what I'm looking for.
It's just Eomer of the Rohirrim with an astigmatism. Yeah.
No, I'm not getting any results. You can buy a little glass with his pin nib thing, I suppose.
Okay,
Yeah, but that's it. No specs for Rohan as far
additional
as I can tell.
sponsor, and as well as San Pellegrino is that one specific glass.
If Rohan's vision ever started to fade, he would immediately retire and burn all of his manuscripts.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You could tell me Rohan Kishibe would do anything, and I'd believe it.
At this point, Morgan linked a picture of a little plush Rohan that we started talking about without any context, so here is your context. Oh, look at this little
So-
guy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, look at this little guy.
He looks I don't know. There's something amiss here.
I
Yeah.
want to
noticed
know what background used to be here that he got lasso tool yanked out of.
Imagine going to an arcade in Japan and that's when the prizes in the claw machine. You get your own little fucked up Rohan plush to take home, and
I would go broke.
I think about what is it, that post that you see floating around Twitter or Tumblr sometimes, where it's the person talking about how they used to have a Webkins they would fill with milk and slap up against the wall, because I feel like that's what I would do with this Rohan plush.
That's why it's floating in a white void. You're already like in the process.
Yeah,
I
it's
see.
in the stasis chamber. It's waiting for deployment.
Rohan's taking a soak.
Honestly, I would watch no less than 2 whole episodes about Rohan taking a bath. I think that would be. I think Araki could make that an incredibly entertaining set of episodes.
I know we're going back to part 4 here now all of a sudden, but Rohan is too fun to think about. Imagine how many freak things he would have to have, like, exactly precise for the bath to be good.
I know. I know.
He'd
He's
be
got
measuring.
a candy thermometer in there for some reason. It's just
Yeah.
his favorite thermometer.
Oh my gosh! It'd
His
be like
fucking
it'd
bathtub
be like
would
the
be from Pretty Woman.
yeah, it'd be like the skincare routine at the beginning of American Psycho. It'd just be him like describing his routine. Oh gosh. I don't even remember what else I wanted to talk about.
I need a minute.
Okay. Well, let me consult my notes here.
Here's a simple one there while we collect ourselves. There is a name theme. Pretty much everybody we fought recently has been named after food, and some of them relate very clearly to something about their character, and some of them absolutely not. So I would like to go through these and see if we can come up with a theory.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Okay. Formaggio. He uses
Okay.
little feet. He makes things small. What about this man is akin to cheese?
Is the cheese
feet.
small? Yeah. Stinky feet.
Yeah, I didn't want to be the one to say it, but that's where I went first too.
I thought maybe shrink things down like mouse size. Eat
Oh,
the cheese.
sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's much more normal. So maybe we should go with that.
I'm imagining a stand that's just a mousetrap.
That'd be
Like a normal mousetrap.
That, honest to God, sounds like something from Part 7. Like, no
Yeah.
bullshit. Or Part 8,
yeah.
Part 8, Joe Jolian.
No, that also sounds like something from Part 7.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything from Part 7 because it's my favorite, but there's a guy in Part 7 who has a power that, like, makes me believe that could happen.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
All right. Illuso, Italian for deluded, but probably related to illusions. Mirror. Okay, got that one. Prosciutto.
Uh-huh.
It's like an aged meat, right?
It's an
Isn't it
aged.
like a
okay,
cured
he makes
meat?
people old. He's got
Yeah,
aged
he turns
meat.
them into
Okay.
jerky.
Okay. Yeah.
Pesci, fish, fishing rod.
Yeah.
Ship it.
Yeah.
Melone.
We don't talk about Malone. This is not an episode that exists. Yeah.
Get that melon out of here.
Yeah.
Giacchio, obviously ice. Squalo, his name means shark. Cool. Tiziano, again, named for a Renaissance painter, not even a food.
If you had not told me his name was Tiziano, I would not have remembered. I remembered Squalo because it was distinct, but I don't remember anything else about that episode aside from seeing the shark fin in the soup and being like, "Is this a Spinal Tap reference? Did he put a shark sandwich reference into JoJo? Like, is that what that is?"
I haven't seen that movie in like
The Spinal Tap
15
fans,
years?
the Spinal Tap fans in the audience know what I'm talking about. They're losing their minds for that one. But
The entire Hitman team is made of drummers. A little known fact.
yeah, that's why they keep dying so often. Do the hitmen in this show die? Do they die the way that some of the other ones have, or do they all just retire? I feel like most of them have died so far.
Yeah. I'm forgetting his name, but from the first third of the series, the guy with the Kraftwerk stand, he lived, I guess, and so did the guy on the boat.
Okay.
Salt and sugar, yeah.
Yeah, Salt and Sugar.
The tortured guy, right? That they did the dance? Yeah, okay.
I believe those two, just from offhand comments from like the characters as they were getting ready to like, go to the next location, made it sound like, yes, those two lived at least. But I think literally every single other one has died.
This is the part where Rocky starts doing like a Kingdom Hearts 2 nobody fade away when people die. I think I noticed it. You noticed it on and off, but you notice God, what episode is it? It's either the train episode or the one where they fight against King Crimson, where Bucciarati's soul leaves his body. You see like the glowy stuff come up. You see it when they just murk the guy on the plane runway and he falls over, and you see his soul leave his body. Has he been doing that in
that
part 4?
starts in part 3, I recall.
In part 3,
Yep.
okay, yeah.
I remember the rule that it's like people in JoJo die when they become like a like a Mufasa cloud type situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no afterlife in JoJo. You just enter the stratosphere and you're able to turn into a cloud form.
Mm-hmm.
As seen in the last opening sequence of part 4. They're just up there in the clouds, pointing down. Yeah.
So I have to ask. I know we have some other names to go through, right? Don't we have to talk
No,
about?
that's about it.
Okay, what's the
Carne
name?
is meat.
Yeah, was that the guy who beefs it on the runway? Notorious B.I.G. Okay.
Yeah, and he's named Carne because he beefs it.
Exactly. What do y'all think about the decision to stop using "Freakin' You" as the end song in the show? Because I really think it takes something away from the experience of watching Golden Wind.
I do miss it because, like, I remember when this anime was still airing weekly, and we got to the point where it got away from "Freakin' You," and the song that plays there, I always forget what it sounds like because it doesn't make any impression on me, really.
Because it's not "Freakin' You."
Because it's not "Freakin' You," and yeah, it doesn't feel right.
No.
It's like I feel kind of similarly about the second. I don't dislike the second opening theme, but I'm just like the first opening and ending for Golden Wind. They had it right. They didn't need to change anything.
The thing that saves the second OP for me, like, I also think it's fine. I still like it, but I think the thing that saves it for me is the hell no at the end. That part's really. I'm always looking forward to the hell no.
You kind of just need that one moment in an anime opening, and then you're set.
Yep.
I really prefer the visuals of the second opening to the first opening. I think it's really clever and frenetic, cutting and direction to put the entire first half of the show in 4 or 5 seconds. That takes skill. That takes work.
Also says something about the pacing, though.
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed that they never used "Freakin' You" the way they used "Roundabout" in the beginning.
Oh god!
Oh my god!
Imagine if they had resurrected that meme, and a lot of people are putting up TikToks of I don't know, they're about to fall off a chair, and then they talk about how they wake up feeling so horny, and it would be amazing.
Your brain.
It's got a really. It's got such a good start for that too.
Yeah.
What episode and what moment would you have wanted just to hear the opening beat of "Freakin' You" come in on during this show? What is like, what in your mind, like when they would play the guitar of Roundabout, like where do you start with the porno funk in this show? And then
Mista on the ground with 4 bullets in his head.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. I don't know. I feel like the part where Bruno has completely unzipped himself, I feel that would be that would be a very different tone if he's sitting there, the life leading his eyes, and you just hear that bass come in the back. It really would have changed that scene for the better, I think.
The show should the song should start up literally every single time Zipperman unzips something.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
They should put that edit on Netflix. They should like have it as a separate like language option.
Yeah, Netflix needs all the
The
W's
freaking
they
you
can get
cut.
these days.
Yeah, the freaking you dub.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the Dwayne translation.
Yeah.
If they licensed the Duang translation and just did another dub pass,
Oh my god.
can you imagine?
Man, that would have been like a really good like April Fool's bit. Like
Yeah.
when part 4 was coming out.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Could also see it being like one of those gags they do at like a con at some point, like some anime dubs do. When
True.
they play the bloopers and stuff. But yeah.
Can we circle back on Freaking You real quick? Because I did find something in my notes. At the end of episode 19, after they beat White Ice, there is the scene where Mista is getting healed by Giorno. And he's like looking like he's doing a funny blowjob, and literally it cuts right to every time I close my eyes, I wake up feeling so horny, which is just
Just start playing
As
it a
impeccable
little
as it
earlier.
gets.
Just
Yeah.
move it up like 15 seconds.
yeah, absolutely. They almost got there, but not
I feel
quite.
like that's one of the last episodes that it's on too.
It is, yeah, because the next one is where Diavolo starts showing up, or the boss. I don't know if they've said his name in this, so I hope I'm not spoiling
yet.
anything. Okay. Well,
Wow.
sorry. The boss shows up.
That's not the name of a food.
Yeah. So the boss shows up, and it's where they betray him, which is one of my favorite sets of episodes in this section, and Golden Wind as a whole. And I made one of my first notes is the baby Bruno stuff where it's flashing back to his childhood, and he's still wearing the fucking like white jacket with the black spots, and then he goes to his dad's funeral and he's wearing the same outfit, but it's just black with white
Yeah.
spots.
Listen,
Oh
his father
my
was a
God.
humble fisherman, but he made sure that his son was always dripped out.
He had to stunt. On that one.
It's
I
the
mean,
same jacket inside out. That's the secret.
That's
Oh, that's
so
smart.
genius. That's so genius.
Oh, dude.
That is rad. I love this episode where they betray the boss and King Crimson shows up for the first time.
Yeah.
King Crimson is such a cool stand. Oh my gosh.
That episode is like the best possible wrestling booking, essentially.
Yeah. Totally.
Because Bruno, I mean, he gets his ass kicked. Like, he dies. I saw his fucking ghost. He dies, but he still comes off like the goddamn Terminator at the same time.
God, they really did a great job of showing the effects on King Crimson in the show. Because in the manga, it's really interesting. You just see the characters, like, superimposed over each other, like, on the path that they're going. And it's really, really cool. But I like this sort of cosmic aura split in space-time kind of direction they took for it in animating it. I always love seeing... One of my favorite things about this show is the color work they do, and those scenes are a great example of that.
The slow motion they do with the King Crimson time space stuff is also one of the actual examples you can point to people who love to watch interpolated 60 frames a second anime and go, this is how you actually do it, because all the slow mo in this show is done with like AI to like interpolate the frames out to make it smoother. An actual
Oh, that's so cool.
good use of it.
Yeah, I did not know. That's very cool.
That's sick. I think that King Crimson is like the stand that benefits the most from like the animated adaptation more than anything, because like reading this back in like before part 5 is adapted, it's so fucking hard to tell what it is that stand does.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh yeah, no, they did a pretty good job explaining it, and like, yeah, it does some time stuff that I can't really explain, but I
It's-
know what's going on.
You just hit fast forward, right? It's like the remote from Click. You hit fast forward.
Yes.
Yeah, it literally is. I'm dead serious. It is. It like the easiest way to describe King Crimson is that it's the remote from Click. You press the button, everything else fast forwards around you, or like you fast forward, and you know what I mean, right? Like you fast forward. It's literally the remote from Click.
I'm just picturing it's really smooth King Crimson.
The Click remote is Christopher Walken's stand. It's called Time. It's called Time After Time, or it's called Time Keeps on Slippin'. One or the other.
Iggy keeps humping that pillow. He won't stop.
Oh my god. I think I've told this story probably on the Emoji Show, but certainly on one of my movie podcasts. But Click was one of the first movies I watched, and I realized a movie could be bad, right? Like, it was right on that threshold of me being a kid and just being like, wow, I love movies. Oh, I go to the theater, I see B-movie, I love it. And then, like, growing up a bit and being like, damn, this is like, this sucks, you know? Like, that is my one memory of Click, and I'll keep that, like, in the back of my brain probably until the day I die. So here's my question. What is Adam Sandler's stand, and what does it do?
Oh no.
And if you can't think of one for him in specific, think of one of his
Adam
characters.
Sandler's stand is Rob Schneider, and I don't know what he does. No one will tell me.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
He'll just do a racist caricature around. It's not a good
Yeah.
standability.
Yeah.
It is literally the worst standability.
When you see the stand chart at the end, it's range F.
I was gonna say it's Jill from Jack and Jill, but I like Rob Schneider a bit better.
Yeah.
I was just picturing like Adam Sandler and like Star Platinum makeup as well,
Oh,
like his
man.
Jack and Jill. Anyway,
Maybe the bird from Jack and Jill is the stand, and that's why it's impervious to chocolate fountains.
I feel like, to be honest, you could probably get Adam Sandler's stand could be based on any of his movies, and you can make something work.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I've
You know,
seen
the Waterboy stand just hydrates you really well.
Okay, yeah. And then in the English dub, they change it to water sports because they don't have the licensing.
Yeah, yeah.
God. This actually is a question. This, weirdly enough, makes me think of this. Have you all talked about the? I think it's a light novel that Araki wrote. That's like a spin-off, like alternate universe thing where all the stands are named after movies instead.
Is that George Joestar or is that?
I think it is
something
George
else?
Joestar. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was trying to find the name. It's
Yeah.
very weird. You should, if you catch up to the anime, you should like maybe think about checking it out
If I
because
remember
it's a trip.
correctly, if I remember correctly, that novel also has some stuff to do with later parts that haven't been animated. I can't remember.
Oh,
Once we're caught up with the end of part 5, then we have part 6, which at time of recording is not all there. And I like conceptually for the show hate the idea of having a break. That's why we have such a deep backlog. So no matter what happens in real life, like you're going to get the entire part week to week to week, which means if we want to maintain that, we might have to think of something to go in between the part 5 and part 6 episodes. And maybe that stuff like George Joestar and the Fugo spinoff, the Araki's manga in theory and practice, which I think would be really interesting to read for the show.
Yeah,
that is very interesting. The Araki's theory stuff. Also, I checked. George Joestar does have stuff from part 7, so you might
Yeah,
need to
that's
hold
right.
off
That's
on
what I
that.
thought.
Yeah,
I have heard some stuff about that book though, and it sounds wild.
it's nuts.
Cars is back in it.
Ooh.
He encounters Voyager. If I remember correctly, he crashes into it or something.
There's a
That's
lot
gonna
going
really
on with
screw
cars
up
in
the
that.
math done by that one person who, like, every time there's like a date mentioned or a notable time skip comes in our YouTube comments to like run the cars numbers.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
How many astronomical units from Earth cars is right now?
Yeah, that's something I've
love
always
that.
wanted to read. Everything I hear about it's just very, very silly in a way that makes me think they should just publish it in English if they haven't already. Have they published that in English?
I think there's a fan translation.
Yeah. I think
it's
that's where
only-
I saw most of the stuff I've seen from it.
Yeah, that makes sense. What else? What else in part 5 do we want to go over? I've got a few notes to.
I mean,
there's
there's a big thing that just happened, like just under the
Yeah.
wire for our topic today. We got an odd couple here. We got the perfect double act. Opposites attract so much they're in the same body. We got
Oh
Doppio.
my god! I am just going to. You can't get me started on Doppio because I'm just going to talk about Doppio for literally a full hour.
Let's
That's
talk
going to
about
be all
Doppio
this
for a full
podcast is
hour.
going to be.
Lovely little doofus boy.
He is one of my top 3 favorite characters in any part of JoJo. The whole enchilada. I love this dude, and they do him so incredibly well in the anime. He's so much fun to watch. Doppio really kind of strikes this great balance that you see expressed in other places of JoJo, which is kind of the balance of the tragic and the comedic, you know, but also just like the dramatic with the comedic, having all this weird sort of slapstick stuff, but then also having him bulge out and go Hulk muscles on a guy, you know, because he's got the friggin' boss inside of him. It's really incredible the way that they do his stuff in the anime, the way they stylize all of his like transformations that he does and all of his moments where like you see the boss's eye on one side of his face and his eye on the other side. Oh, it's so cool.
The eye stuff is really great and like visually very iconic. And I also love the times where it's not just that, oh, one eye has changed to the other. There's like that bit where he hulks out and his eyes are just a black void, and then it looks like the boss's eyes get like pushed forward so that they slot in.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
It's so cool. One thing I've always loved about this anime adaptation is how much care they take with the source material in terms of putting a little bit of flair on it, you know? And this stuff is them really leaning into that in terms of making this look as cool as possible. I don't really remember a lot of this from the manga because it's been a long time since I've read it, but his bit, oh my god, his bit in just this last episode, like we haven't even really seen him do much of anything yet because there's going to be, you know, no spoilers, there's going to be a pretty cool set of episodes with him coming up after y'all record this one. And I really like that one as well. But just his personality and the way the dub actor conveys his sort of dorky, like nice guy, like, oh, I'm naive and I'm sweet and I'm cool, you know, and then the balance you get of that and the guy who plays the boss is fantastic. Like, I literally have nothing but good things to say about Doppio.
Over the course of this like middle section of the part, it has become clear that the best fights in part 5 have someone for the villain to talk to, like the train fight, Squalo and Tiziano, or in some cases the villain's just not there at all. Thank you, Carne. You died and left us with not having to worry about you. But but Doppio is a double act in one guy. You are always going to have that I don't know, dynamic in one little package. He's a combo pack. There's 2 boys in that boy. It keeps happening.
2 for 1.
There's 2 in there, and they're both fantastic characters. They knocked them out of the park. I think one of my big kind of problems with 5 is that it kind of struggles with some of the same things that Stardust Crusaders does in terms of pacing, where they really take a long time to show the boss in his like full ability and what he can really do, you know? But I think here it's nice because they dole so much of it out beforehand so that you're kind of aware of the threat that he poses. Whereas in Stardust Crusaders, it's like, okay, you know who Dio is. Like, you read Phantom Blood. You're not going to see him until like the very end of this arc, right? And I think them metering it out a bit more in Golden Wind is really, really cool. And I think putting them like together with such a fun characterization is even better, you know.
It's a fun like take on the Dio thing, because Dio's whole thing was like they don't know what Dio's stand ability is, and in this it's like no, they know what it is, they just don't know how to beat it. And I think that's really fun.
Do you think the boss and Doppio are some sort of mirror to Bruno and Giorno's relationship in any way?
That's interesting. I never considered that, but I could definitely see it where you take this kind of commanding guy, you know, and you kind of take that to the logical extreme. the only person he can trust is himself, so he literally just invents a new personality. I think it's really
making up a guy nobody can get mad at.
Yeah, you couldn't get mad at him. There's nothing you can get mad about. He's perfect. He's ideal. He is the platonic ideal of just a dude, you know.
Shout out to Trisha's mom for being able to recognize this.
I mean,
also for
listen,
giving birth in a prison.
Yeah, gosh, I'd forgotten about all that. It's very so like, what's the deal with that?
Well, I mean, that was Trisha's mother-in-law giving birth in a prison.
Yeah.
Oh, it was right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
I got it mixed up. Yeah, no, I believe that it's implied that the boss is like an immaculate conception or something. 'Cause she said the dad died 2 years ago, and then I was like, hold on a minute.
I mean,
That doesn't add up.
I don't know. I mean, look at Doppio. He's a real angel. You know, he could be an immaculate conception. There's all sorts of like fun theories, and I don't want to talk about them too much because I don't know if it would spoil anything for the later part of this episode. But there's a whole lot of really fun theories about the dynamic between Doppio and the boss that are really neat to get into, about like the dynamics of their personality and that kind of thing. But it's really cool, but I don't want to spoil anything else about this part. So I guess I'll just have to circle back in a few months and see what you'll think.
The existence of Doppio, though, is so, like, it's a real, like, tragic, dramatic irony for poor Trish, right? Because she's on this quest to get her family medical history, because, you know, it's good to have one of those, you know.
It's important.
In case something comes up. But she knows for sure that her father is a stone cold monstrous killer. But what if she finds that her father is also this sweet angel boy who just wants to make sure that bugs don't get hurt?
He's friends to the little critters, and I love that about him.
I think he has to be friends with the critters because any one of them could be a phone at any moment.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, we get some fun stuff with the phones coming up. They do
Going around putting otter boxes on the frogs that he finds. They don't break.
Then Giorno comes around, turns it into an otter, like, this is useless. What are you doing?
God, imagine a fight where Giorno prevents the boss from communicating with Doppio because anytime Doppio picks up something to talk into a phone as a phone, he turns it into something else and it's no longer a phone to him.
Oh my god.
This phone bit me. It's injecting its venom. It's phone venom.
Yeah.
Don't worry, if it dies, it'll give you its anti-venom.
Phone venom is only poisonous to other phones. That's how it works.
I think when I read through Golden Wind the first time, I missed something. And I didn't really...
A lot of people think that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen, for a long time, it didn't have a great translation. You know, I read through it really, really quickly. But at first, I didn't realize that they were literally two personalities in the same body. I thought that the boss was literally like phoning Doppio from somewhere, and Doppio was like picking it up on stuff. And I was like, oh no, I just read this completely wrong. This is way more interesting. This is another part of the it's the King Crimson reference, right? Because there's a King Crimson, and then Doppio and the boss. It's the 21st century schizoid man. Like that's I'm assuming kind of what the intention was.
Yeah.
Oh. That never clicked for me.
Yeah, that's always what I thought he was going for with it, because there's going to be more King Crimson references coming up soon that I won't spoil, but he gets a lot of good cuts from that album in here.
Everybody do your prog rock homework.
Everybody, you gotta listen. When you go on the Viz Media app and you tell them you want to buy the newest JoJo arc to read or whatever, they immediately send you like a $20 off coupon for a Steely Dan record. Like, that's just
I wish they did. I wish they did. That would be so nice if they did.
I wish they would. Yeah. What's everyone's favorite prog bands? I'm gonna go with a really entry-level answer and say King Crimson, but I really do enjoy them.
I'm aware of a lot of prog rock, but I just haven't I'm bad at just listening to albums.
Fair.
I do a lot of video editing, so I can't listen to stuff a lot of the time when I'm working.
Sure.
I think all
But-
these progressive musicians are what's ruining America.
Oh my god.
God damn it.
Steely Dan's woke agenda.
Stands for progesterone rock.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I like the Mars Volta anyway.
You mentioned, as has been mentioned several times in the run, the less than stellar original translation of Part 5, and a listener got in touch with me after episode 61 posted, so 6 weeks ago, with some examples, and this is the first time I've had a chance to bring them up. So thank you to Daxing Dan for not only giving me this paragraph, but also like some pictures. Like in this case, where the landmarks of Venice are for some reason labeled with landmarks from Austria.
Huh.
The city of Vienna, Austria.
Oh my
Interesting.
god.
Interesting.
Strange, inexplicable changes, like Giacchio's rant about how, Italian cities should be pronounced with their Italian names, instead just being a rant about how everyone ought to speak French. Dang it, speak French.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I guess I really didn't realize how bad that translation was.
It's quite poor. Yeah. I
They
think
put the Danube River in Venice.
damn Danube. Yeah, so I read that, and I think I read the Dwayne translation of Part 4 as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I had a very different experience. Like, I remember reading it and going through it and being like, there has to be a better translation of this somewhere, right? Like, there has to be something that is not as bad as this. And so I think I tapped out of it shortly after Choo Choo, There Is No Place, This Feels Like a Picnic or whatever. But I definitely slogged through a little bit of that, and God bless him. It's a classic for a reason.
Daxing Dan wrote, quote, the Japanese word kakugo, which is supposed to mean resolve or determination, is mistranslated variously as conscience, consciousness, and conscious. These three words are used interchangeably because the translation team thought these words mean the same thing. They do not, and that conscious is a noun. It is not.
Yeah, I much prefer determination. I butchered that, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm a quarter Italian. I'm allowed. That completely changes that entire fight with, White Ice. That would make that so much worse.
I've always wanted to go and actually visit that old translation just to see how it explains the reveal of King Crimson's ability.
Not well.
Yeah.
That's what I've always heard, and it's it's been like an in-joke in the JoJo, like a meme in the JoJo community for years, that King Crimson is not easy to explain or understand. And watching the anime, especially with the dub, it's not that bad. It's pretty wild, but you get it. They illustrate it very well visually.
Click. Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, click. So it's got to be a real mess when it's not, translated properly.
Yeah. Just too many moving parts to be imprecise with getting across what that does. Because when it's done well, you're right, it's pretty straightforward. But then when there's any confusion, it just becomes a complete mess. I had friends who were into JoJo for ages before the most current anime adaptation started, and being I just figured out what King Crimson did from the anime.
He wears fishnets and has a tiny face on his forehead. What else do you need,
Not much, honestly.
Yeah, I guess not, huh? He always looks angry. King Crimson, I think, is probably the angriest stand. I struggle to think of a stand we've seen that consistently looks more pissed off in the way that King Crimson tends to.
I know what I'm doing for Halloween.
Yeah? Paint yourself red, get out there.
I've already got the second face on my face. I'm covered. Yeah. I got it. Why do you think I don't do webcam stuff? Come on.
Nah, I love King Crimson. He's one of my favorite stand designs in the whole series. I think my all-time favorite stand is Killer Queen, just because it looks cool as hell and also has an incredible ability that is used really well. but King Crimson's design is just next level. He looks like a Cirque du Soleil freak, which I really enjoy.
I don't know if this is gonna like drive a wedge in our friendship, Morgan, but I do think I do think King Crimson is better than Killer Queen.
I mean,
I
that's
think King
fine.
Crimson's a lot cooler.
I think King Crimson's a good second choice, and I think I also really like the villain stand from Part 7, which I won't spoil.
I think that villain stands just kind of get better as time goes on. I don't know what Part 8... I haven't finished Part 8, so I don't know.
Listen.
But I kind of just feel like it just gets better and better, which is like fun. I feel like Araki has just been very good at escalation.
Mm-hmm.
That is true, but also I could not tell you what... Well, I know I could tell you one thing the stand does in Part 6, but as for the rest of it... I have no idea. I could not explain.
Listen, we be nice to the men with the podcast. They gotta wait on this stuff.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah. I can't be too tempting about forbidden stand lore.
The good news is that King Crimson and Killer Queen are married. That's why they're named that.
Good for them.
Oh,
Stand
I'm
marriage.
against the monarchy, but still, good for them.
I have somewhere one of the only pieces of JoJo merchandise I ever bought in college. I got a Killer Queen action statue, right? One of those figures they make, but it was a bootleg, and so it got here. And
It's just giving two middle fingers when it crosses its wrists like that.
Honestly, it might as well had, because what it was like some of the joints are really wonky, and I think it was missing one of the pieces for the stray cat that goes in his chest, but the main thing was that one of his eyes just didn't have eyeliner on it, and I was like, damn, he had to rush out the door this morning. He couldn't even finish his fucking makeup.
I've been there.
Yeah, it's very funny, but I don't know. I can't get too into collecting anime figurines because number one, it would bankrupt me, but number two, I would have people come over and I'd have about 8,000 figures of just like the gayest looking men imaginable in my house.
Hey, Sylvie, you want to talk about anime figurines?
I don't want to. What are you? First of all, it's a statue, not a figure. Second of all, I've never heard of Nitro plus Chiral or the video game Dramatical Murder. It's fine. Anybody who's discovering me for the first time on this is like, who's this Fujo weirdo?
Yeah, I always assume that everybody who listens to our podcast already knows who we are, but this is one that people actually listen to, so it's gonna be an interesting experience. I'm also not qualified to talk shit about sexy anime figurines because I have a giant big-tittied Leatherface statue right above my desktop monitor.
Oh, I'm so
Oh,
jealous.
Yeah.
the run I see on Twitter every once in a while where it's just they just take every single horror slasher monster.
Yeah, the Bishoujo horror. I'm always really mad I didn't get the one from Ash from Evil Dead because that one is like very breasting boobily but also covered in blood and has a chainsaw arm, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I would not pay aftermarket prices for this, but I would pay more than list price. Oh god, I don't know. I should just bite the bullet. I already have one, obviously, statue that's like a nude cat in gladiator armor, so I may as well just fill out the rest of the collection.
You never really think about what the stands look like until people put it into context.
I know. I've been into JoJo since like 2015, I think, and so at this point, I'm kind of just used to it, I guess, but the minute you take a step back, it's like, yeah, this is really something, huh? Imagine having a statue of Pesci in your house and someone comes in and asks you who that is.
That's a Pokemon. That's what that is.
Imagine
That's a Pokemon.
Imagine having a statue of Carne. Like,
Oh, imagine having a statue.
Dude, okay,
of
hold
Carne.
on. Stop the train right there. Is there merch of Carne from JoJo? Is there merch of Carne from JoJo? Give me a yes or no right now, because I'm gonna look it up.
let's see.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, fuck me. I literally...
Man, look at this little fella. We got like a
literally-
little
Oh my
stubby
God,
guy.
Look at this.
Oh my god.
He looks like Ryuk from Death Note in this one. Like, are we sure Carne's not a Shinigami? Is that how his thing works?
Honestly, he may as well be. He may as well be. I was looking for Doppio merch earlier today, and literally the only two things that you can buy officially that have Doppio on them that aren't like a trading card or one of those like just little tiny things like that is you can buy one of those JoJo figure pins they make. Like there's the one with Rohan where he's standing on the pillar, and it's like, oh yeah, it's a little pin. Or you can buy this. You can buy the you can buy the Doppio bean.
Is that a pencil case?
No, it's one of those like it's just a little tiny stackable plush of Doppio, and like that's it. Those are the only two pieces of merchandise for him. No statues, no figures, no
why
plushes.
he grumpy?
Yeah, I don't know why he's sad, because I feel like Doppio would like to be like this.
He was trying to catch a butterfly and it got away from him, and so he's a little upset about it.
Yeah.
He's being accosted by a fortune teller.
Yeah, you know he hates that shit. You know he hates that shit.
That's one of my favorite things, like when we're meeting Doppio. Like what's he about? He might be kind of a lovable doofus, but he's not gullible.
No.
Like he knows he's getting cold red and he doesn't have time for this shit. He's gonna keep going on his way.
Okay, to like have some synergy with one of your other podcasts, Grant, there's a little bit of like comic Jughead with Doppio. There's like a little bit of that vibe going on at times, specifically when he's like, of course, I'm from here, or you think I'm a tourist, or something along those lines when he's like trying to walk away from the guy. I'm like, you could edit this to make it look like this is a panel of a Jughead comic, and I believe you.
Yeah. I want this little figure of Carne now.
It's really cute, honestly. There's like, I don't know.
He's got a charm to him. He's like a little dude.
Yeah. It's the same way that like pugs are cute, While we're on Carne, I do want to mention something that happened in these episodes that's sort of like one of my favorite little JoJo things is when a stand becomes like a folkloric thing. I think part 4 does it a lot more. With like the Angelo Stone is like kind of the first and most prominent example of it.
Boing Boing Rock, etc.
Yeah, Boing. Fuck, how could I forget Boing Boing Rock? Classic. But like the story about Notorious B.I.G. becoming this like sea monster is so good. I like the weird stands that they can't necessarily like just straight up beat, and I think B.I.G. is one of the better ones in the series because it just is. They didn't really win. They had to like crash their plane to do this.
They just got away from it. That's it.
Yeah.
This is the first stand that was just straight up like unkillable.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, there's the Killer Queen bomb, right? But like, you can kill Killer Queen, right?
Because it is a stand user.
Yeah. I think so. I think it is, right? Aside from Cars, but I mean, Cars isn't a stand. He just flew off into space.
What a twist that would be if it turned out if Cars was his own stand.
His stand is called 4Kids.
No, I like the stand Notorious B.I.G. I really enjoyed y'all's conversation in Stardust Crusaders about how a lot of the interactions in that series are based on movies. Like a lot of the stand fights, there's like the killer doll, there's the Nightmare on Elm Street, like Dream World and that kind of stuff. And this one I really liked because the design of Notorious B.I.G. gets really into that kind of Akira body horror stuff that you don't see a lot of in JoJo. Yeah. It gets into that like John Carpenter's The Thing, like weird, muscular, meaty creature that like grows and webs and transforms and, has all this goop coming out of it and that kind of stuff, which is something I always love, right? I just went to go see...
All that good skittering. A good skittering is great.
I love a good skitter. I love like a good, like wet, evil thing. I just saw David Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future, which really delivered in spades on that front.
Fantastic article on that, by the way.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. Yeah, I simply love to see a movie where some weird things happen, and that was a movie that had a big bed that was like half testicle, half insect. So I really got into it. Highly recommended. But no, I really love the Notorious B.I.G. I really love the Grateful Dead stuff with like the aging people, sort of like a kind of a resonant thing with Inya's stand or Inyaba's stand from Stardust Crusaders with like the town of zombies. I felt a lot of that same kind of vibe from it.
Oh, I didn't talk about Narancia getting old and fucked up and how awful that was.
That was fucked. That was fucked up. I have to
You just
say.
reminded me of that. Yeah, I like also there's sort of a like Twilight Zone vibe to the stuff on the plane, especially when they think they've beaten it already. And Trish, like they basically do the there's a man on the wing of the plane, except it's there's Jello on the wing of the plane.
Meatball.
Yeah.
I also love that Misto was like, oh, this must be a prank from Giorno to make me look at some weird bones and meat in the fridge. What a funny prank, Giorno.
Good prank, man. Great prank.
Yeah, the prank content on their TikTok did not take off.
No. Well, it got taken down for, violating a whole bunch of
Yeah.
terms of
Yeah,
services, so-
yeah.
The most reported TikTok in history.
Yeah.
Joining the mafioso prank gone wrong?
Something that I think would be good for the show is that if they got Tony Sirico, who played Polly Walnuts from The Sopranos, to voice one of the members of the crew.
Which one?
I was thinking about this a lot, and I think I'm torn.
Okay.
You know, part of me is like, it would be really funny if that voice came out of Narancia. But also, that's just because he's my favorite, and I always want to say Narancia for the things. I think, honestly, it would be Abacchio.
Abacchio. Okay.
Because he complains a lot.
He does,
I also think
yeah.
it'd be a fun take on Abacchio, doing the bit when they're like, he's just a civilian, and then do I have the order that mixed up? Does he kick him before he's like, wait, this guy's just a civilian?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he doesn't realize he's a civilian until afterwards.
But then he does force feed him as a poison test after knowing he's just a regular guy.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. One of the scenes where I get endeared to Abacchio, there's not many of them, but that was one of them.
I like his outfit. I think he looks cool. I like the
Oh
big,
yeah, he looks great.
the big A belt buckle he has.
Listen, there's a lot of good looks in the show. Shout out to Doppio's titty window.
Yes. Oh my god.
His diagonal titty window, really getting sort of avant-garde with the shapes. I'm a big fan.
It's inspired. I need to cosplay Doppio at some point. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be fun.
No, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I just try and incorporate trying to look like a JoJo character into my daily
Daily
life.
life. Yeah, totally. No, I get it. I totally get it. I just think, like, I've always wanted to do cosplay, and I feel like JoJo would be a fun one to get into. I mean, it'd be...
It'd be hard too as well. There's
would.
a lot of
Yeah.
stuff you'd have to make.
Yeah, like, you'd really have to, like, unless you were just doing a Koichi cosplay and had to spike your hair and get a school uniform,
But then you'd have to be 3 feet tall.
I would have to be 3
You'd have
feet
to.
tall.
You'd have to be knee high to a frog.
Yeah.
If you want to be Koichi.
Listen, the estrogen does a lot. I don't think it makes me 3 feet tall. I think I have to go on progesterone for that.
Yeah, those are a very apocryphal rumors online.
Yeah. But no, I love the style of JoJo. I love the look of it. It's something that has always been from day one what really got me into this series, and I think part 5 is where Araki really starts going kind of wild with it in terms of the fashion. Yeah.
It's 4 and 5 both definitely feel like they settle into what everybody thinks of as JoJo style.
Mm-hmm.
Now.
Sorry, the TikTok, the gang having a TikTok thing is just really
please,
stuck
I
in
love
my
always
this.
head.
bring
I
up.
love that we're still on this. Hell yeah,
And-
let's
And
go.
no, I'm thinking about it a lot too.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm just imagining, they want to go viral and trending and shit, so they're gonna make their own TikTok challenges, but it's just all show your determinazione, and it's just all chopping their own arms off or shooting themselves with their own guns.
You know what? It must have been so liberating when Araki realized he came up with a power that lets dismemberment be okay.
It's so much fun.
yeah.
I love
I'm
seeing
pretty
the stuff
sure
he does with it.
I think I counted 9 hands get cut off.
It's a lot.
There's so
yeah.
not even counting what Sticky Fingers does too.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. He got a taste of it with Josuke and was like, no, I can do more. I can make my main character even more of a healer.
Mm-hmm.
No, his power can do anything whenever he wants, and I love it. It's oh yeah, this ladybug is a tracking device. Is kind of one of my more favorite instances of it in this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's he can just tell where it is.
It's that very particular sort of writing in the moment for the moment, right? Yeah, how on two different parts of a stand fight, that stand will have different abilities. Giorno's dad does not matter at all as soon as Koichi is out of town. We're done with that. We're past it. Moving on.
Yep. He just has the framed 8x5 of him in his wallet, which is autographed for some reason. I think about that a lot. I think about the little autographed Dio headshot that Giorno has. Like, did his mom not have anything but the, like, Sears photo shoot that they did together?
Dio just leaves those on the, like, his pillow in the morning for people to find when he's gone.
Yeah.
eBay's been up for like 6 years or so by the time this starts. Like, he's set. He's got a signed Dio picture. God damn.
Yeah. What if Giorno's mom was like a talent agent and Dio, when he first came out of the water, briefly entertained just going into show business?
See, I love that. That's the kind of like fan fiction and headcanon stuff that really resonates with me, is like, what are these villains doing when they're not being villains to these people, right?
So if he flips the headshot over, it's just Dio's CV? Like, what?
Yeah, it's got like a number, goes back to the palace. The Crusaders really just should have gotten in touch with this talent agency. They would have found him immediately, you know?
Now, see, when Dio first, came back out of the water, he wasn't immediately thinking of taking over the world as a vampire again. First, he just wanted to see if he could make it in Hollywood. And it didn't work out, so he went back to plan A.
He could only do night shoots. It really limited his options.
Yeah.
Oh, it was weird that the Crusaders couldn't find him after his 3-episode arc on Grey's Anatomy.
Mick Eat Me.
Huh?
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I got it. I'm upset. What were you saying about the TikTok thing?
The thing. Sorry.
I got dealt psychic damage by Grey's Anatomy, Jay.
It's all good. It's all good. I didn't know anything about Grey's Anatomy, so that went completely over my head. I was going to say that the reason I thought about the TikTok thing in the first place was during the Clash and Talking Head episode, whenever it would show Tizione and Squalo, they reminded me of the Da Vinci twins. And I was like, oh, these two dudes are like boyfriends that have a TikTok that they show up and like talk about the Mona Lisa on or whatever. They do like fashion TikToks or something, because they're just these two dudes, right? I feel like with the exception of Carne, obviously, you get a lot of characterization of the villains like before and during when the fights start, but aside from Tiziano and Squalo just constantly doing public displays of affection and being literally 2 inches from each other at all times, you don't really get a whole lot about them until Narancia starts wrecking their shit, right? Like, they're just they're like contractors to the hit squad. They're gig economy hit squad members who are just there to do this and go home.
Aren't they like the boss's bodyguards? Wasn't that the thing?
Yes.
They're part of his bodyguard crew.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in the episode where they find the guy sliced up into pieces, right? Where they get mailed the like Hannibal body.
Yeah, I don't think they're there for that.
They aren't. Okay.
I don't. They're not part of that. That's
the Hitman squad. That's like traitors to the boss.
Oh, yeah. Gosh. No. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There's a really good piece of fan art somewhere of Doppio being like on the phone with the boss, like over the body holding a hacksaw, and he's like, "You want me to slice him what way?" And he's on the phone like, I don't know. I'll have to see if I can dig it up, but it's very funny. I think about that a lot. I think about like the logistics of that. Does the boss have like a plastic manufacturing factory? Did he have to send it to like a taxidermy thing? What's the deal with all that?
I mean, it's Mr. Pericolo's hobby.
Oh,
yeah, just had him do it. I was picturing Tiziano and Squalo doing one of those. Here's my day as the boss of Passione's bodyguard TikToks, where they just go through what a day is like for them, and it's the most annoying influencer shit in the world.
Welcome to the Assassination Squad house. Yeah. They're doing like tours and
the worst hype house in the world.
Yeah.
It's got Malone there. It's immediately the worst hype house in the world.
Malone is like, I know we just completely skipped over it for good reason, but like the whole Malone and Babyface thing is the Stephen A. Smith butt of Golden Wind to me, right? It's like, now you know I love Golden Wind. I love Abbacchio, I love Giorno, I love Bruno, but But Araki needs to go to fucking jail for that. I fucking hate it. It's like it's far and above the worst part of Golden Wind to me, and
Yeah.
under no circumstances do you have to hand it to Malone, but I do like his outfit, so take it that way you will.
I wish his character design got used for somebody who didn't suck.
Exactly.
his-
Like Alessi in Stardust Crusaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Malone's whole power reader visor thingy he wears is great.
It's
I
so
love it.
cool. Oh, God, yeah. I had some other notes, I think, on the villains of this part. Let me check really quick.
While you do that, would it be a safe space for me to say that I kind of, aside from the obviously bad shit in that episode, I kind of like the babyface fight?
I like
yeah?
the fight. Yeah. I like what Babyface does. I think it's cool.
I guess it's a Frankenstein's monster situation, because I don't know how to refer to the actual thing that he fights, the Giorno fights, because I don't know if Babyface, that's actually Babyface. But the like weird cube thing it does, it's like the parts where Malone is like explaining to it, like, this is a lion, this is an elephant, like that bit I did like, and then I'm remembering the context for it all. and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
being really annoyed about it.
A stand you have to train and a stand you have to text are both really fun ideas.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just with the worst window dressing.
Who do you think is in the stand group chat? I know I know
You know,
at the
not
end...
a lot of them are very talkative.
Exactly,
So,
exactly, right? Because we know
Spice Girl, definitely. They always
Oh,
be
yeah.
on their phone.
Yeah.
All bisexual women know is eat hot chip and make things incredibly rubbery and soft.
I forgot that was her power. I like. It's been so long since I've watched this because I watched it when it was coming out and I read the manga. I was like rewatching it and I was like, what does Spice Girls do again? Like, how are they gonna get out of this fix? And then it's like, oh yeah, all right.
The thing is, too, you can't really figure out what Spice Girl is going to do through context,
No.
because when they hint at Trisha's stand, they show a big dinosaur claw, and then that has nothing to do with it. Speaking of Araki writing in the moment,
That's a good one. Trish, why have y'all had a discussion about Trish having a math dress and Spice Girl also having a math theme?
yeah, it's called fashion.
Okay, excuse me.
Her Venetian blind as a skirt is so good.
That
so
is very good. Yeah.
Or like wind chimes. What are those? I don't know, but I like them.
I love how Araki designs women. I just wish he wrote them better.
Yeah. My question is, the first time Trish shows a hint of having a stand in it, she leaves a giant dinosaur footprint in the ground. What was his original plan for her stand to be? Just a big dinosaur she rides?
I really hope.
That would
like,
have
that would
kicked
be...
ass. Yeah.
Because they also like hinted at like, well, maybe her stand ability has like a hint at defeating the boss, and it's like,
Yeah.
does it? Because then if it would just be like, oh yeah, we're gonna use this big T-Rex to eat the boss, that's the hint.
That would have
that's the
kicked
hint
ass.
we got.
That would have kicked ass. Yeah.
It would have been very funny to have like the thing that can defeat the boss's stand be the most simple stand power ever, which is it's a dinosaur and it will bite you.
Oh wow, incredible!
It's a dinosaur that ignores frozen time.
I'm just saying,
there you
T-Rex is a band.
Yeah.
Fits the naming convention.
And one that is very tied to like all of the like Araki's favorite scenes to draw band names from. Like,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
To the point that why hasn't there been a stand named T-Rex yet? Wait a minute.
I just searched T-Rex JoJo, and it turns out that JoJo Siwa was on The Masked Singer as a T-Rex, so I'm not going to be able to find any answers to this question. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I love the stands that are like animals or reptiles and that kind of stuff. Like, I know it's just a big bug, but I really like the bug at the beginning of Stardust Crusaders that writes Massacre on the wall.
Oh yeah, with tongues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocky loves writing stuff on the walls of planes.
He does. Is that from something? Is that like a
No, I
reference to a
think
movie?
It's just fun.
It is fun. I mean, I'm not knocking it, but he certainly has different things that he obsesses over, and like the movie references are definitely one of them. I watched.
Oh, yeah.
I had seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly before, but I recently watched A Fistful of Dollars for the first time, and it was like, damn, he really did just take this character and make him Jotaro. This is just a 1-for-1. It's so much fun. It's so funny. I don't know how many explicit movie references there are in Part 5, right? I mean, there's the Death in Venice stuff, but I think he's talking about the book, not the movie adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the rest of it is just kind of fill in the blank stuff like with Stardust Crusaders was, where it's like, oh, they're on a plane, or, oh, they're, there's like this big kind of Akira blob thing, or, oh, there's this and that. But as far as I can tell, there's not really a lot of that kind of stuff in this part. There's no...
Yeah, not really.
No Godfather references, no Sopranos references,
Don Corleone was in Part 3, though.
He was! Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Oh,
yeah.
He didn't want to go back to the well.
Marlon Brando was definitely a stand user. I think I think that's something.
It was the guy who held the cue cards with his lines on it.
Yeah. What else do we want to talk about? Anything we want to go over? I talked a bit about all the freaks in this. We talked a bit about the dub. I noticed the line, Grant, I think you posted this on Twitter, but this meatloaf from hell has a need for speed, which is just incredible, just absolutely astounding.
And to say that as a way of explaining your plan, which involves cutting your friend's arm off.
It's nasty. The Notorious B.I.G. stuff is nasty. Like Giorno slicing his arm off on a window pane, the gross meat, the fingers, the ladybug turning back into the hand. It's very, very gross in a way that I always like seeing in JoJo, because Araki doesn't do that kind of stuff often, but when he does, it's always very gnarly in a very fun way.
I would love to, when we reach the end of Part 5, I would love to go back and see how many limbs were lost in total across the entire main crew.
Oof. Okay, we're not counting villains or anybody else. Okay.
Yeah, we're just counting people who were fine at the end because they had their, Jorah just replaced their shit.
Mm-hmm. Like we're definitely topping the Star Wars movies, and that's saying something.
Yeah. Like somebody's on their third hand by now, I think.
Giorno has to be, right? Because
yeah.
Let's see. All I remember from these episodes, there's Trish, and she gets hers zipped back on by Bruno during the King Crimson stuff.
Same for Abakio.
Yeah, Abakio loses one. Giorno loses both of his. I felt like Giorno lost another one at some point, right? During the
babyface fight.
The babyface fight.
Babyface.
Yeah.
It keeps turning into a fish and back from a fish. I don't remember.
I really like all the fish imagery in these episodes, like the shark and the that kind of stuff. It's very fun.
There's a lot of evil fish.
You mentioning that made me realize we didn't talk about Narancia doing Liar Liar, but like opposite, and that's great. That's so good. I think it's one of the weirdest things ever when his tongue comes out to turn the sink on.
That's so fucked.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like that at all.
It's great. Talking Head is such a stupid stand, and I love it.
It's very silly.
It's a stand with two distinct powers, which makes it one of the most powerful stands.
Yeah.
That's a Killer Queen level stand right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god.
I think over this stretch, it really shows that there is like a tension within the way Passione is built. Because if you're going to make the most powerful mafia, you need the most powerful mafiosi, right? So our test turns you into stand users. But that means a lot of your people are going to be very strong-willed and very independent. And while that can be very good for you, it means every once in a while the system spits out a Bruno or a Risotto. And like, it's not a stable structure at that point. Like, what did the boss expect to happen, when this is how he's running the organization? If you wanted to play it safe, they would all be a bunch of pericolos, but that's not what he did.
No,
certainly. Are they ever clear on like when the stand stuff gets introduced? Because they do mention that like Doppio leaves Sardinia to become the boss, but they don't mention if that is tied to him getting a stand. And I'm wondering if this is like a couple of years ago the stand thing got introduced, and it's just really blowing up in the boss's face.
If I remember correctly, that actually does get explained later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does it
Yeah.
have anything to do with Pulpo being inducted as a capo? Because, like, Popo's just giving out stands left and right.
Yeah, yeah.
Or killing people, I guess. One or the
Or
other.
being a bed. He's also occasionally just being a bed.
Do you think he does that because he enjoys it? Like, does he get satisfaction out of that?
I
Or does he
would.
just do it to be dramatic?
Does he get satisfaction from being a bed?
Yeah,
or from
well,
unfolding
okay.
from a bed?
Okay.
I think it's the more like
I am asking when the capo uses whatever it is his body function. I don't think it's part of his stand powers, right? I think he can just do that. It's like a party trick,
Yeah.
Does he do the bed thing, and is he like internally like, oh yes, it's so cool that I can do this. Fuck yes, I love being a bed. Or is he
Oh,
just
yeah, it's bedtime.
Yeah, exactly. Or does he just does he
so.
just think to himself like, okay, I have to intimidate somebody. I'm gonna have to do the bed trick, right? The bed trick gets them every time.
They'll never see it coming.
And you don't.
He-
You certainly don't. I have to say.
Pulpo went to prison. He went up to the biggest, toughest guy he could find, and he turned into a bed right in front of him.
I would be so scared. I would never leave my house again. If I saw someone turn into a bed like that, I would just be done. There would be nothing left for the world to show me.
My dearest Maria, I saw the most confounding sight this day.
Even in a
my
world
God.
filled with abilities like being able to turn things to rubber, a person turning into a bed is one of the most messed up things that's ever happened in JoJo. Number 1, someone turning into a bed. Number 2, Narancia using his tongue to turn on the faucet. Number 3, everything with pigs and shit in Stardust Crusaders, which I fucking hate.
Yeah.
Every time I go back to Stardust Crusaders, I'm like, God damn it, I'm gonna have to sit through this again.
You just gotta do what I do, which is never go back to Stardust Crusaders.
It's got some good parts.
Look, I made it over an hour into this without being mean about part 3. I'm really proud of myself.
The back half of Stardust Crusaders is very good. I just
I
think
agree. I think Dio's World is pretty
The
good
ending
too.
is so so good.
it is. Yeah, the toilet humor. I just can't do it. Let me go check in.
Really? And a Hirohiko Araki work?
Okay, it gets it. Oh, listen, these.
I'm just saying. There's a lot of pee and a lot of poo in the thing in
Yeah,
the jokes
but here
that he
we're not
writes.
getting like every fucking episode. Narancia isn't getting a pig shoving its face up his ass, right? like the
Okay,
Assassin
It wouldn't
Squad.
fit. His ass is so small.
His ass is very
Yeah.
small. It's even smaller when he's been small for 3 episodes straight. What was Araki thinking with that? That is like one of the wildest parts of Golden Wind to me, is that he starts it off with all these compelling characters and he's like, okay, now what if I slowed it down to have one of them stuck in a bottle fighting a spider for like an hour and a half? What if that was just a huge chunk of our show?
Isn't that one of the longer fights?
It's literally
of
3
part
parts.
5?
It's literally a 3-part episode of him fighting this guy while he's small.
He just watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and he really had to get it out of his system.
Yeah.
My Narancia bias has been, well documented. I don't think I can really complain about him getting 3 episodes of bullshit.
Would you like to speak on why Narancia is the member of the group that really stands out to you?
He's just a little goblin idiot. I think the thesis for it is the scene where he's can't figure out what to do and then dives into the water to swim after them.
Yeah,
It's that's the moment where I'm like, oh, that little weirdo won my heart forever.
Yeah, I think he has a really great character arc through these episodes of coming into his own in a way that we've sort of seen with some of the other characters, but with Narancia, you see him really grow just in the span of these first, 26 episodes, from being the guy who's almost like the butt of the joke at the beginning to someone who
Yeah.
is one of the most competent people on the team. And
Getting his tape deck fucked up by orange juice and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also just very impish, and I appreciate that. I think him and Mista as the comedy duo always works for me whenever they've got stuff going on. But I noticed while watching this, oh yeah, a lot of my favorite stuff in part 5 are the episodes that focus on him or have him as a major part of it.
I think the thing about Narancia that I find compelling is that he's surrounded by people who have plans. Narancia does not have plans. Narancia gets backed up against the wall and decides, well, what's the next thing that I can blow up real big? Fuck you.
It's so good. He's just so like impulsive and reactive to everything. I think the fight with I can't remember the name of the shark stand, but that fight really like accentuates that when he like shoots the pipe and then also cauterizes his hands on it so Giorno doesn't come over. Like
Clash, by the way.
Thank you. I feel like the dub name was like
Crash.
Very
Crash.
Yeah,
David Cronenberg's
it was just
Crash.
Okay.
Yeah, and Talking Mouth, not Talking Heads.
Talking Mouth is like memorable. Crash is just like a word.
Yeah.
Yeah, also just a cool stand ability. I like his little plane. I think it's just like a fun thing to do.
The little runway landing is like the unique way he puts his stand away.
Good.
Where everyone else just kind of their stand just kind of fades away. Otherwise, like
I
really
think
cool.
the best choice of that is that he doesn't do like full extension. It is like a tense flex, like his elbows jutting out and everything. It's so good.
I really like that. I really wanted to get y'all's opinion on Araki realizing that Fugo was too powerful and writing him out of the story. What's y'all's take on that?
I always read it more as a character choice. Like I've had this discussion earlier on the show, so I don't want to totally repeat myself. But like, I just think Fugo is the guy that didn't have it the same as everybody else. Fugo doesn't have that same well of determination in the gut, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think that is true, but I also think Araki looked at this and he was like, oh, this stand could kill the boss instantly. I have to get this guy out of the story.
Yeah. Like, compared to other characters in other JoJo parts that kind of just disappear because Araki realized, like, this isn't working or I'm not interested in this anymore or whatever reason. Fugo has a pretty good out in the story.
Totally, yeah. And I really...
it serves Narancia really well, too, so...
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen more exploration of Fugo's character on one hand, but on the other, I feel like Araki kind of did everything he needed to do with him to write him out, like you were saying, Grant. Like to have him be this character who's very strange and conflicted and has this stand he can't control is really compelling because we haven't seen a lot of characters in this series who have stands they can't really control like he does with with Purple Haze. But I do think Fugo also had to go because he had the worst fashion taste out of the entire squad.
Yeah.
Just absolute trash, my man. Bruno out here stunting with the big zippers, the cow print. All you did was buy a Joker outfit and cut holes in it. You just Swiss cheesed it, my dude. So it's like being voted off of Survivor, you know, Italy's next top fashion model. I'm sorry, Fugo, but you have not made the cut.
The breakup of the band, right, is the moment where this part becomes a character drama.
Yeah.
And that is like the animating genre of what's happening right there. For the only time, really. There's always little flecks of it here and there around, but that's where it is like the center stage, working in that mode. And it makes me wish that we had like cutaways to what's Fugo up to during this? How is he integrating? Did he get reassigned to another team? Does he like them? Do they like him? What's it like to betray your group because you couldn't betray the larger organization right now?
Yeah,
is he trusted? Or do people think he's a plant?
Yeah, I don't know. There is a book, isn't there? Purple Haze Feedback.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen a little more of Fugo. I do think the scene where they all make their decision to get on the boat after betraying the boss and Fugo leaves and Narancia swims after them is a fantastic scene. Like, I think it's one of the best scenes in the whole, like, of Golden Wind, to be honest. But I think that Fugo leaving also lines up very well with, as we said, Araki's tendency to lose interest or realize something's not going to work for the story, and find a very like well considered way to like write someone out of the story. You know, I think he handles it very well here.
I'm honestly really glad that someone did leave the group, because it does kind of, like, as much as I'm enjoying everybody's blind devotion to Bruno, it's nice to show that that it's not completely unshakable for everybody.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
It introduces, like, a little bit of tension of, like, will the others end up, like, not going through with this at some point? And yeah, it is probably, like, standalone scenes that aren't just like crazy battles, like my favorite of the ones we watched. Just because it just kind of gives everybody something, like a moment to shine and show who they are.
It's a shame Narancia lost his only tutor in the world, though.
Yeah, that boy's never gonna learn how to read.
Yeah.
It's fine, he's doing fine.
He's gonna be like reading C Spot Run, and then Aerosmith drops a bomb on it. Like, fuck it, book's done. I read the book. You can't prove I didn't.
My book blew up.
Hate when that happens.
It says there's a monster at the end of that book. I don't want to see a monster. What's wrong with you? Don't give me this book.
My God.
Stands based on children's literature, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, the monster at the end of this book.
That's Notorious B.I.G., the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Yeah.
Gold Experience can make a giving tree if it wanted to.
Oh, it really
It
could.
could.
Yeah.
It could.
Gold Experience was such a cool stand. It makes no sense. I love it.
Yeah, I really like that.
Shout out to all the frogs.
I love that Gold Experience and Journo seem to have like a cool like posing thing that they do.
Yeah.
You know, like I always like in the show and the manga when you see users who have like some kind of dynamic or relationship with their stand. I mean, obviously my favorite one is Kira and Killer Queen because I think they just hang out, you know. I think Kira is like asking Killer Queen's opinions on like what fashion stuff he's buying and that sort of thing.
Which nail polish to get for his girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Killer Queen can actually speak though. I think he just like gives nods of approval or like thumbs up and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Oh, be very careful with those thumbs up.
I know you
oh,
gotta be
boy.
careful. Yeah, I think I'd like to think that Kira cooks for Killer Queen. That he makes Killer Queen meals, even though he doesn't really need to eat.
Well, neither do his girlfriends, but that doesn't stop him. You know, he's used to it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, all that extra food's got to go somewhere, you know.
I thought Killer Queen would just get wet food.
Oh my God.
I don't want to. Oh, okay. I don't.
Kira feeds Killer Queen those little tube snacks for cats. You just rip the top off and you just squeeze it out
Like a Go-Gurt, yeah. I think Killer Queen and Kira do yoga together. I think when Kira does his like Patrick Bateman routine in the mornings, I think Killer Queen is there doing the same thing, like putting on eyeliner and tightening
Doing Tai Chi in the park.
Yeah, tightening his gladiator sandals and all that. So
I know what you're thinking. If a stand eats, does the stand poop? What's the situation there? That's what the bombs are for. It just goes away.
I was gonna
It
say.
just goes
I was
away.
gonna say he has a big litter box. I forgot about the whole bomb thing.
They should have to take. Everyone should have to take care of their stands the way that Mista does.
I agree.
Yes.
I
Yes.
agree.
It's so funny. I love that they eat. Why do they eat?
They like it.
I never thought about this before now.
Star Platinum has lungs. Like we know that at
Yeah.
least some stands have at least some biological processes and organs.
It's great.
Imagine getting the stand that has to take a dump. Like, oh great, now I have to be responsible for the stand.
I can't fight. My stand has an upset tummy.
Yeah, my stand has IBS. They're being very brave about it.
It's just having a very powerful baby is what you're describing.
Yeah, I guess so, huh? Super-powered baby. And there was a baby in JoJo. We all love the JoJo baby, right?
The invisible one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Does she have a name, or is she just?
Yeah, she does, and I'm Shizuka. It's Shizuka Joestar, right? Or am I wrong
Yeah,
about that?
yes.
Yeah, that sounds.
And
yeah.
I should shout out the Shizuka Joestar Project. I don't know if we've mentioned them on the show. There's a collective of fan artists who are making a big collaborative manga about the teenage adventures of the JoJo that never was.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
that kicks ass.
I haven't checked out the actual project yet, but I've seen some stuff from it and it looks very
They
cool.
came up
I
with
really
a very
like the
cool
stand
design for her. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could talk about just how much I love the gang just in general. I really love all the character dynamics. I love the character designs, I keep thinking about the White Ice fight, the White Album fight. That
Yeah.
that's so messed up. The part where it's like literally 10 seconds into the fight and Mista is already frozen to the car window. Like, all right, man.
I love it because it's like he wasn't close to the car window
No.
in the last shot,
No.
if I'm remembering right. And then all of a sudden, he's like, his cheek is right up against it. It's like, Misa,
Yep.
what are you doing?
Giorno hit a pothole on the road and he bumped into the window and got stuck there like a fucking fly caught on sticky paper. I wrote down a note that says Bruno Buccarati's Home for Troubled Boys, which I think was during the flashback where he's like picking up Mista from like the prison or something right before they finish the White Album fight. Because that's really what he's doing. He's just
yeah.
going around like collecting all these guys and like, hey, you want to be in my gang? Doing some on the ground recruiting for all that.
He is a bit of a Fagin character, now that you mention it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, was Fagin evil? Was he a good guy?
I think a little bit. I don't
He's
know.
Immoral for sure.
Okay, well, I'm fine with that. I have no problems with that. All I remember about Oliver and Company is what I remember from the Disney adaptation.
I'm talking about Oliver Twist.
I know,
Yeah,
I
wait,
know.
hold on.
I know it's Oliver Twist. My mind just said Oliver and Company, which it is Oliver Twist, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will accept the mid 70s musical spectacular Oliver ! But come on now.
You think Oliver and Company is pushing it just a little bit? I see. Furry discrimination on Dogs Must Die. I'm raising the alarm. I'm making a call-out post.
What, the name of the podcast didn't give it away?
Yeah, I guess I should have seen that one coming, huh? Araki needs to put like some friggin' great Mouse Detective references in this. This manga.
You're going to say Araki needs to make a JoJo that's a fursuiter?
They should. That's what the new one should be about. It's called what? JoJo Lands or something like that.
JoJo Lands, yeah.
How
Yeah,
do you
it's gonna-
see
Oh,
the-
yeah.
I get a partial fursuiter. We have to see the abs. There's got to be abs.
You know what?
A window
Yeah.
cut out?
Actually, I say this, and I can't talk about it too much because it's spoilers. But there is some technical fursuiting in a future moment of JoJo coming up.
I have no idea
Oh,
what you're
yes.
even
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
I know what you're
yeah. You
talking
know what I'm
about.
talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wait, I do know what you're talking about.
That counts.
Yeah,
That does count. Never
yeah.
mind.
I think that fully counts.
All right.
Furries one.
All right.
Sorry, Grant.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Kira is a furry. I think that's why Killer Queen looks like that. That's my other headcanon. I don't have anything else to talk about. I'm drained.
Okay.
I could talk about the characters' personas. You know, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Let's workshop personas.
Oh man.
Let's close
Oh
this.
no, you activated Morgan.
Let's close this out by workshopping personas for the gang.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, Giorno is hard. Giorno is multiple choice. He can do all of them. That's kind of the whole point.
He's some type of like
Yeah.
shape-shifting one, right?
yeah.
I was thinking like a big ladybug.
I guess it would depend on what you would cast Dio as, right? Because maybe Dio
Okay.
Dio is like a lion, and maybe Giorno is like a
Yeah.
lion with like a slightly smaller mane. You know,
I can see him as like a lion cub,
exactly.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is a lot harder than I expected it to be.
Yeah, you said this, and
no.
I was like, "You're about to give yourself so much work."
Bucciarati, German Shepherd, done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's a good one.
Like a German Shepherd with the Bucciarati wig. I think that'd be great.
Rocky already killed him too.
Yeah. What about Mista? I think dog is like always a good fallback, but I feel like
Cow?
Mista's cow. Interesting.
He's very nurturing. He's got a caring soul, you know?
He does. He does. Maybe. What, Sylvie? What?
Nothing. I just think that's funny because he has 6 little sons.
Yes,
You're right.
yes.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
he is, huh? Well, who does that leave? Abaccio is like a dog, but like a borzoi or something like that. Like,
Police dog.
well, Bruno's already the German Shepherd, right? Like, you don't want them both to be German Shepherds.
Oh yeah. I don't. I just meant he has the little police hat.
I think Abaccio is one of those like secretary birds, right? Like the ones with the really long legs. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Nothing. I'm just impressed. I'm trying to be a supportive friend.
Okay, thank you,
And
thank you.
Narancha is a ferret.
Narancha is.
I was
ferret.
gonna say that
Naranja
too.
is a
Yeah,
ferret.
he's totally a ferret.
He's stinks.
Okay, all right. I'm not talking
Come
about
on.
Narancha smells on this podcast. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We have kept this relatively normal in the grand scheme of things.
I'm not.
We've done a good job at keeping this on the level, Sylvie. Don't do this to me now.
He pisses in front of his friends in this episode. I'm just saying, ferrets are known for smelling like pee.
I don't want to.
You could. What's the next persona, Morgan?
That's
Fugo.
it, isn't it? I mean, we could.
Fugo. No, you gotta do Fugo.
Okay, Fugo is like a sad cat. I don't know.
Platypus, because it has the toxic stinger.
Oh, okay. And it's like two things in one, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sort of like how his outfit is like a bunch of things fucked up together.
That's a good one. Let's do one last one, and then I think we can wrap this up.
Okay, Doppio.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Axolotl.
Who's Doppio?
Axolotl.
Oh, Axolotl's perfect.
yes.
That's perfect.
Kicks ass. That's a good one.
Thank you so much.
Very happy with that answer. Thank you.
Okay, well, that is the Emoji Dome experience in a nutshell.
And Trish drives them all to the convention, drops them off, and then comes to pick them up at the end of the night.
Absolutely.
Yay.
Also, she's like a flamingo. Or something.
Yeah, she would be a flamingo. You draw the experiences, the parallels. Getting a stand, it's like getting a fursona. Once you have a fursona, you're naturally like gravitating towards other people with a fursona.
Is it because she's so leggy? Is that why she's a flamingo?
I was more thinking like the pink
Yeah.
stuff with the like hair and the like sort of like she's got like a fashion girl thing going on, and flamingos have the like kind of, like standing out thing. Also, peacock could work, I guess, but I went with pink more. That's me showing my work.
Well, thank you both for coming on. This has been a lot of fun.
Good?
I hope it's been enlightening.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hope we've
yeah.
shed some expertise on Golden Wind, among other things.
Thank you so much for having
Yeah,
me.
that was
fun.
a lot of fun.
And before I let you go again, you can find these two doing this sort of thing at Emojidrome 2.0. Where can people find that?
Yeah. So if you look on Twitter, it's just Emojidrome. Yeah, like you said, so we had some trouble with our hosting for a little while, and that's why our current feed is listed as Emojidrome 2.0. We're still trying to figure out about how to get our backlog transferred and stuff. But subscribe to that one, because the other one, the company that was hosting it, went out of business. Also, yeah, at patreon.com/emojidrome, we have a Death Note podcast that we have been doing sporadically and are trying to get back into doing, called Hold This L. That is a little fun. I think it's very fun.
I think it's great. Yeah, I loved watching Death Note.
I have a lot of strong feelings about Death Note, and if you want it just to be the what personas do these characters have conversations, but like over like 7 or 8 episodes, that's for you. That's like $3 or something. Also, I'm on Friends of the Table, friendsoftheTable.net. It's an actual play show. We just finished a season. I think by the time this comes up, we might have the Road to Palisade games going on our main feed, which includes something that Grant designed.
That's true. And you're in that one.
I'm in that one, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And I think it's a really good episode. So keep your eye out for when we play Last Shooting. A little bit of synergy there for you. And also, I'm on Twitter at SylvieBullet. I think that's everything for me.
Well, I guess I'll take that as my cue to jump in here.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am also the other half of Emojidrome here. Whether I am the Siskel or the Ebert or the Beavis or the Butthead.
Beavis?
Yeah. I don't really know enough about Beavis or Butthead to.
Whether you are the Doppio or the boss.
Ooh, that's a fun one. I don't know.
I'm the Doppio.
You're the Doppio. Yeah, I'll be the boss.
Yeah, I'm the
yeah.
Doppio.
I mean, based on how the boss's outfit is going to look when it's eventually revealed, yeah, I'll fucking be the boss. I love that shit. But I am on Emojidrome. I am also on a recently launched monthly podcast called Herzog Fever, where my friend Janosch and I are watching through a catalog of Werner Herzog films for some reason, one at a time. By the time this comes out, I think we'll have our one up on. It's either Even Dwarfs Started Small or Fata Morgana, both of which were like very interesting movies to try to podcast about. So if that's your kind of thing, I guess check that out. What I do these days is I write like movie reviews. I do movie stuff. I program things for a local film club here in Austin called Hyperreal Film Club. I will plug them because I have a ton of reviews up on their site. So if you like reading about David Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future as like a trans text. If you like reading about, oh god, what else have I written about? The Batman movie that came out with Robert Pattinson. I've got that up there. I do like a list twice a year. I'm about to release my top 10 list for the first half of this year, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So check that out if you're into movies and that sort of thing. And I think I said it, but I am on Twitter at Kursgoat, where you can find links to all of that stuff.
All right. Thank you very much. I've got to start listening to Herzog Fever before there's more than one episode for me to catch up on.
You gotta catch that Herzog Fever. I'm telling you, once you pop, you just don't stop.
Herzog Fever sounds like something that just decimated a South American village.
I mean, yeah, he kind of did is the thing. Several times, even.
So it has been a joy having you two on. What did I wait 4 parts for to ask you? Goodness, what's wrong with me?
We had to warm up.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to really get ready to have 2 guests of our caliber on.
But before we go, I would like to encourage all of our listeners to, hey, spread this stuff around, talk about it. We're having a great time, so I have to assume at least some of you are as well. So why not, say so. Tell us your friends. And also, we are also on Patreon at patreon.com/ChipAndIronicus. That helps us keep the lights on here and keep things rolling around, helps us buy our time from, our day jobs and stuff. And we love doing it, but boy, is it nice to not have it be a money sink as well as a time sink.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to be back next week with 3 more episodes. That is King Crimson versus Metallica, Beneath a Sky on the Verge of Falling, and Get to the Roman Colosseum, episodes 27, 28, and 29. So that is it for the day, I suppose. To be continued.
See you later.
Be continued.